This is the Avata 360, a flying 360-degree camera that puts DJI's best features in one platform. It may revolutionize the world of aerial videography with the ability of giving you infinite creative possibilities with a single shot. Some of the key features include a 1-inch imaging sensor giving you the ability to record 8K 60FPS video, 120 megapixel spherical stills, and it's super safe and easy to fly with built-in prop guards and omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. You can also control it in a couple of different ways, one with the traditional RC controller as well as in FPV mode. Built-in storage of 42 gigabytes and a 20-kilometer communication range with an HD video feed. We're going to talk about the Avata 360's key advantages over shooting with a standard drone. I'm going to share some of my footage that I've shot over the weeks with it, as well as talk about the key advantages and disadvantages that it presents. Now, firstly, let's talk about design. It's very similar to the previous generation Avata 2 in terms of core design. It weighs about 468 grams, and it's about 190 by 245 by 58 millimeters in terms of dimensions. It's a fixed prop design, so not as portable as a foldable drone, but nonetheless, at the front you can see we have two camera optical sensors as well as two LiDAR units. We also have a LiDAR unit at the bottom, and this will give you the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance system that DJI is coveted for. Now on the bottom left side of the fuselage, you can see that we have a door that houses the USB-C connection as well as a micro SD card slot. Now the USB-C is for either data transferring or firmware updates, since we do have built-in 41.8 gigabytes of internal storage, and obviously you can still use the SD card. But if you want to use just the internal storage at the 8K resolution at 60 frames per second, you can get about 33 minutes of footage. And at 4K 60 with a single lens shooting capabilities, you're going to get over an hour and 20 minutes of record time. Now, the camera system comprises of two ultra-wide cameras. You can see that they're stacked on top of each other. And when it's in its landing and takeoff position, it basically faces the main camera at the front, and at the bottom you can see that we have some rubber feet which acts as landing gear. And once it's up in the air and you switch to 360 mode, it will rotate that camera unit where one camera is facing up, the other one down, and it will actually cancel out the image of the drone itself, so you have a seamless, uninterrupted 360 view of the drone. Now, as far as safety goes, you can see that we have the built-in prop guards, and this is great for indoor flying, and obviously if you're flying next to specific items, if you hit a specific object, even though we do have obstacle avoidance system, but in the case that you hit a branch or something like that, it's going to, one, protect the item that you hit, but also protect the props and obviously the drone itself. So prop guards are definitely a good safety feature to have. Now, the downside of prop guards is they do add weight to your drone, so it eliminates a little bit of your battery life and flight time, and they also introduce some aerodynamic drag as well as some vulnerabilities in terms of wind. Thankfully, since this camera is stabilized in software, that's a mitigated concern. Furthermore, as mentioned earlier, we have full omnidirectional obstacle avoidance sensing capabilities on the Avata 360, and this is pretty much utilizing DJI's very advanced system that has the option to either brake when it encounters an object directly in its flight path or bypass it. The computer vision system on DJI drones is actually probably the best in the industry, and when it's following you, it will actively go around objects, but there are certain circumstances where it gets stuck in between tricky situations. For example, it was following the car and got trapped in between some branches in a tree. Luckily, it didn't crash. It just kind of hovered there, and I managed to maneuver out of that situation. Now, the great thing about the LiDAR system is that it works in very low light conditions, even in pitch black situations. So it'll actually see more than what your naked eye can see, and certainly what the optical cameras can see as well. And I could confidently say that DJI makes some of the best and most safest consumer drones out there, and pretty much anybody can do advanced camera maneuvers and fly this thing straight out of the box. Now moving forward, let's talk about the control methods. Now you can control the Avata 360 in two different ways. One with a standard RC controller, specifically comes bundled up with the RC2 that has that built-in display. And you obviously have the three speed settings for cinema, standard, and sport. Some of the unique features with the controller is that you can change your field of view from a standard 104 degree to a slightly wider 134 to an ultra super wide 272 degrees, giving you perspectives that is very hard to achieve with a traditional drone camera. You also have a multi-view mode, which gives you a live feed of what's happening around the drone. You can set it to look at the bottom, back, left, or right. Keep in mind that when recording in 360 video, you can obviously rotate the camera in any which direction, but it's pretty cool that you can actually look at what's happening at the back of the drone while you're looking at the front at the same time. Now with the FPV mode, you can either use the Goggle N3s or the Goggle 3s from DJI, coupled it with the motion controller, and with the head tracking capabilities, you basically get the sense that you're flying in midair and you can have full 360-degree access to the drone camera itself, and it's a very unique flying experience. Plus with the Motion 3 controller, you can enable one-touch acrobatic moves, so you can do cool and advanced maneuvers such as the slide, 180-degree drift, or the flip maneuver. Now, as far as the cameras go, as you mentioned before, we have a dual camera array with a 1-inch sensor size, and they're actually about 1/1.1 inches, so it's about 90% of a 1-inch sensor, which is still fairly large, giving you excellent low light capabilities and overall resolution. We have an ultra wide lens with an aperture of f1.9. A dual native ISO of 100 and 800. With the spherical photos, you have a super sampling mode of 128 megapixel stills. So that's going to give you very detailed photos up in the air so you can examine exactly where you are at all times with a great level of fidelity. Now, the great thing about this high resolution camera system is that you have the ability to change your vantage point, your angle, your tilt, as well as your zoom range, and still have a decent amount of resolution for even a 1080p video. And since the camera shoots open gate with a fairly tall imaging frame, you can easily crop for vertical videos for social media distribution, giving you that unique perspective that probably not many people have seen before up in the air. Now, there are two main shooting modes with the Avata 360, a single lens mode and a 360 mode. With the single lens mode, you're basically shooting with one of the cameras at 4K 60 frames per second. There's unfortunately nothing higher in terms of resolution for the single camera, as well as no higher frame rate than 60 frames per second. So unfortunately, no slow motion capabilities with this thing. In the 360 mode, you get the access of the 8K resolution at 60 frames per second. You can also shoot 6K at 60 frames per second. In both situations, you can shoot with the D-Log M color profile for greater dynamic range, as well as post color correction flexibility. Now, the overall clarity and fidelity of the image can start breaking up if you zoom into the image too much, but as long as you're more of a wider end perspective, you're going to get a decent amount of clarity. Now, in the single lens mode, it's certainly not going to be as clear or as well defined or give you the same dynamic range as some of DJI's other offerings, especially in the mid to upper end range. So for example, the Mini 5 Pro with the 1-inch sensor is probably going to get you better 4K 60 frames per second, and obviously with the Air and Mavic series with the Hasselblad cameras, you are definitely going to get a better overall image quality, but obviously not the same level of flexibility with the Avata 360. And I think the Avata definitely balances out the overall quality with the 360 perspective you get that's unique to the camera. Now, like most 360 cameras, you have some optical artifacts that you're going to encounter. So with lens flares that meet in between the two seams of the image, as well as specific parallel lines that might not meet up exactly between the two images. Now, within the DJI Studio app, you can actually turn on high precision smart stitching as well as stitch correction, opposed to using the optical flow, which is a faster process of stitching the two images together. And these might result in a better overall cohesion between between the two images, but you still can have optical artifacts that come in from time to time. Furthermore, like many other DJI drones, we have the full array of tracking capabilities. That's both with spotlight mode, so you can do things like droney, circle, orbit, rocket, etc., as well as high-speed active track capabilities with the ability to follow people, bikes, and cars. On top of that, you can follow your subjects from the front, back, side, as well as coordinate specific camera moves to go from one direction to the next, adjusting both your following distance and the height of your camera move. So it is the full active track array that you find in most other DJI flagship drones. Furthermore, one of my favorite features is with the ability to actually actively track your subjects after the fact using the DJI Studio app. So you can actually select a specific target subject that you want to track and coordinate an exact move after the fact, which is pretty cool and very unique to the Avata 360. And let me talk you through the workflow of processing your 360 image on the desktop DJI Studio app. Okay, so to process your 360 image, you want to download the DJI Studio app, either for Mac or Windows. We're on Windows. We can create a new project over here, and it's just like any other basic editing software. We can import our footage from the drone just by basically selecting all of our clips from the drone, either through the SD card, or if you have it hooked up through the USB-C connection, you could do so, and you can simply drag and drop all the clips that you want to edit right onto the timeline. Now, when you play a clip, you have three perspectives. You have the camera view, which is the initial shot that you pretty much captured with the live view mode. You have a free view mode, which allow you to basically change 360 degree as well as the zoom range within the shot itself. And you can animate these within these keyframes over here. So if you want to add a keyframe there, maybe go a little forward, zoom back in, change the direction, we can add another keyframe right there. And as you can see, we have pretty much infinite options in terms of which angle we want. And as far as the zoom range, you can go with these presets over here. So you can go full like little planet mode or asteroid mode, ultra wide, wide, as well as a D-wrap effect, which will eliminate some of the barrel distortion or fisheye effect that you get from the ultra wide lens. If you look on this over here, there's default camera moves that you could set. So if you want this kind of effect over here, which is a pull and rotate, let's see what that looks like. So it kind of pulls and goes back, which is kind of cool. There's this sky flip mode, which is kind of funky. And then it comes back. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, one of my favorite features is the intelligent tracking capabilities within this app. So if we hit intelligent track and select either a person, vehicle, or object, it will start actively tracking it, basically making sure that it's exactly in the center of the frame. And it will just play the clip and make sure frame by frame it's exactly locked in. And we're just going to let it play and do this little camera move. Now, once you're happy with your edit, you could simply just go ahead and export it. Choose whatever resolution you want, whatever frame rate, and have it directly for distribution. And you can make sure you have 10-bit colors and noise reduction and some presets built into over here. So pretty standard and straightforward editing software that's very easy to process your 360 image. Now, you can also process your 360 image using the DJI smartphone app, both on iOS and Android. And obviously, you can execute pretty much most of the capabilities within the desktop app within your smartphone. But for me, it's a lot easier to do it on the desktop or laptop compared to the smartphone. But it is nice that you could be out in the field and actually process your 360 image with your phone. Now, the batteries on the Avata 360 are 38.6 watt hours in terms of capacity. And what we like to do is a static hover test and measure the amount of time it takes from takeoff to a forced landing, as well as a total shut-off time. We do this in an indoor environment, just a few centimeters off the ground, so just in case the battery dies midway, it doesn't really hurt the drone too much. And based on this hover session, our forced landing initiated at around 17 minutes and 55 seconds, and the battery completely died at 20 minutes 20 seconds. Based on my real-world experience, I managed between 10 to 15 minutes up in the air. And if you are going to do longer shoots, it's probably definitely recommended to get multiple batteries. And typically you are going to get a bundled with at least 3 batteries, which should be enough for most shooting days. Now, since there's not a lot of other 360-degree flying drones out there, there's really not a lot that we can compare the Avata 360 to. The only one that I can think of is the Antigravity A1, which I've not personally tested, but on paper it looks like the Avata 360 definitely has some superior capabilities. One, it has a larger imaging sensor with the ability to record 60 frames per second, unlike the Antigravity's 30 FPS at 8K. We also have HDR video, as well as double the communication range of 20 kilometers versus 10 kilometers. We also have prop guards versus the Antigravity has no prop guards. The advanced obstacle avoidance system, the ability to use a standard RC controller versus the Antigravity is just stuck to FPV only. And we obviously have the ability to use either a single lens shooting mode for a traditional style drone shooting experience or 360 versus the Antigravity is 360 pretty much at all times. Now, to summarize everything, let's go over the advantages and disadvantages that the Avata 360 uniquely presents. As far as the advantages go, the first thing definitely has to be the 8K 60 frames per second HDR video and the 128 megapixel spherical stills. It's a great content creation tool with a unique perspective, and you can execute certain shots with the Avata 360 that is pretty much impossible with any other camera system. With example, the asteroid or kind of orbit style video up in the air, as well as the multicam perspective that you can get with the 360 image. Beyond the 360, you can also capture ultra wide shots that is very difficult to do with any other camera system, since the Avata 360 has an ultra wide lens. Plus, with the open gate and the overall tall imaging capturing capabilities, it's great for cropping in for vertical presentation, great if you want to make short form content or unique social media posts. Furthermore, for solo creators like myself and the active track capabilities, you could actually shoot and be the subject of whatever you're creating. So in a lot of cases, what I'm doing is I'm basically setting up the camera drone to follow me, and then I ride my bike, run, or get in the car, and it's doing everything for me. And then later on in post, I can choose my specific shot and coordinate any kind of sequence that I want to make. So this is a real asset for people that want to maximize efficiency, but also are working on a tight budget or by themselves. Some of the other highlights include the dual shooting capabilities with just the ability to shoot with a single lens, as well as the 360 mode, the control methods with an RC, as well as full-on FPV, and obviously it's a very safe and easy drone to fly with the built-in prop guards and the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. Plus, we have the O4 Plus 20-kilometer communication range with the HD feed, so this is definitely a very capable long-range drone. Now, what are the disadvantages? Well, if you're just using this as a traditional drone with a single camera system, the 4K 60, although is pretty decent, is not as good quality as what you would expect with some of DJI's mid to upper end spectrum camera platforms. For example, it's not going to be as good as the Mini 5 Pro, the Air, or the Maverick series in terms of sheer image quality. Furthermore, it's not the most portable drone, even though it is still pretty small, but since the fact that it's not foldable, it is going to take up a larger footprint in either your bag or case. Beyond that, I'm really used to shooting with the Neo 2 these days, hands-free, and I really love that experience. I understand that this is a completely different style of drone, but it would be really cool to have the ability to just use your smartphone to control the Avata 360 for specific just tracking movements. It's kind of a bummer sometimes lugging around the controller or the FPV system. So for single shooters like myself, it would be cool to have the ability to use just your smartphone to control the drone apart from the controller and the FPV system, but that's sadly, unfortunately, not possible right now. Last but not least, there's no frame rate above 60 FPS, so unfortunately you can't really do slow motion on this thing. Now, in conclusion, I think the Avata 360 is probably one of the most unique drones that DJI has ever made. It certainly may not replace a traditional cinematic style drone in terms of sheer video performance and quality, but for that unique perspective and plus the ability to do one take and have ultimate flexibility and freedom in post is a pretty amazing thing. And if you're really looking for that unique perspective up in the air to push your content to the next level. I definitely think the Avata 360 is an excellent tool for that. And the really cool thing is with the FPV system, you're fully immersed in the creation of your 360 footage. But what's even cooler is you can share that experience with everybody online, and perhaps 360 aerial video will be the next best thing. If you're looking for a unique perspective, ultimate flexibility, the Avata 360 is definitely a very compelling option, and I'd love to know what you guys think of the overall drone. If you have any specific questions, let me know. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what the pricing will be, but we'll have all that information in the description down below. I definitely want to thank DJI for giving us this opportunity to test out this thing and their continuing support. And I want to thank you guys even more for watching our content and subscribing, liking our stuff. We'll see you real soon in the next one. Take care.